I'll be sharing with you 22 lessons of leading people from my experience. And I hope it will help someone in this audience or anyone who's listening to us to fulfill their purpose. Essentially, I hope it will help someone in terms of fulfillment of their purpose. So let's go. Number one, leadership is wisdom. To gather people of different, even diverging tendencies together and lead them needs a lot of wisdom. Especially when you have no economic power over the people that you lead. People, even when you have economic power over people, your economic power over them may be insufficient for your authority or leadership. So even when you employ people, or you are their boss, or you pay their salary, people may come to work to earn a living, but they may not necessarily work at their best. Because leadership is wisdom, is why James, in James 1:5, he said, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask God, that giveth to all men liberally. One of the things understanding about why leadership is wisdom is that it makes you humble. One of the things about understanding why leadership is wisdom is that the moment you are promoted into leadership, it makes you humble because you know you need wisdom to succeed. Someone that knows that leadership is wisdom in the Holy Book was Solomon. Solomon, knowing the true weight and burden of leadership, when he became king, he went to pray and he prayed for wisdom. So our first lesson is that leadership is wisdom. Number two, on the atmosphere for performance. The first task of leadership is to create a good atmosphere for the performance of the team. See a family, organization, business, church, department that are performing or doing outstanding things. The leader has created a good atmosphere for performance of that institution. Sometimes, when an institution is failing, all that needs to be done is to change the leader and you suddenly see performance. You see that in things like soccer. The same thing applies to business, to a church, to a department. Sometimes just change the leader and performance happens. So, a fundamental task of leadership, the first task of leadership is to create an atmosphere for the good performance of the team. I ask you as a leader, what kind of atmosphere have you created where you lead? Number three, the three ingredients of a good atmosphere for performance. Number one, inspiration. People playing from their heart and soul beyond the average of what is just good enough. People may come to work, but the difference between a good leader and the average leader is that people will play from their heart and soul beyond the average of what is not good, what is just good enough, because they are inspired. Number two, in terms of a good atmosphere for performance, is a great sense of purpose in the institution or the department or the group or family. What is the larger reason for being of the group that you lead beyond the work of a single day? Number three, C, is that a strong sense of value contribution to a bigger purpose for every member of the team. So three ingredients for a good atmosphere for performance: inspiration, a great sense of purpose. Number three, a great sense of value contribution to a bigger purpose by every member of the team. Creating an atmosphere of a strong sense of value contribution for every member of the group is critical to building a strong performing team. See a team or a church or a family or a business where everyone is contributing, where everyone has got a role to play. You are likely to see a high-performing team. That is why good leaders will ensure that when they start, everyone knows what they need to do. So a sense of value contribution. Let me also highlight value, not just contribution. A leader that values the contribution of the team, of the group. So you could be leading a business. People may contribute. If people have a sense that you do not value their contribution, they will not be inspired to give their best. It's one of the very simple things that differentiate a great team and an average team. A strong sense of value contribution to the greater purpose of the team by every member of the team is a key ingredient of atmosphere performance. Number 4, to lead others, you have to lead yourself first. To lead yourself, you have to know yourself. Who are you? Leadership authenticity. Yes, I might have worked at MTN with Kola and many other people, but Kola will do things differently for me. Be true to yourself. Where are you coming from? What has defined you on your journey? What strengths have you brought to the assignment? What are your weaknesses for which others may compliment you? All those things define everyone uniquely. The path that I have taken, the path that you have taken defines your authenticity, defines who you are. But more importantly, to lead yourself, know who you are. There are other fundamental things, about 4 things, which I'll be talking about shortly. Leading yourself means having a sense of duty. When no one is leading you, when you have no one ahead of you, even if your team or a group, you have been given instruction, others are behind you, you have to lead others. A sense of duty of your office is very important in terms of leading yourself because no one has to tell you what to do. Number 2 is a sense of responsibility of your office. Understanding the weight and responsibility of your leadership office is very important in terms of leading yourself. One of the biggest problems of leadership are leaders who do not understand the weight and the responsibility of their office. See a leader who has messed up. See a leader who has underperformed. It is because they do not understand the weight and the responsibility of their office. So one of the key things in terms of leading yourself before you lead others is to understand the weight and the responsibility of your leadership office. If you are leading, if you ever find yourself in a leadership position, please sit alone on your own reflection to define what does this mean, the weight and the duty of your office. And it is understanding of the weight and the responsibility of your leadership office that will give you the self-discipline and control to be a leader. Because whereas a follower might be told, these are your boundaries, these are the things you should do, a leader who has to lead himself has to have self-discipline and control. And it can only come from a sense of duty, a sense of responsibility, and a sense of understanding of the weight and the responsibility of that leadership office that will give that self-discipline and control. So see leaders who do not have these things, they are not likely to have the self-discipline and control to succeed as good leaders. Number 5, on leadership vision, where are you leading your people to? Leadership is like leading people on a journey. Do you have a vision of the destination where you are leading your people to? The vision of destination creates the inspiration and the energy for people to look beyond the challenges of the moment, to celebrate the progress on the journey to the destination and feel a sense of accomplishment. When there's a vision, there might be challenges ahead, but it is the vision that people look at beyond the challenges of the moment that inspires them. So see leaders who do not have a vision of the future. You're not like to find people who are inspired to follow them. When there's a little problem, people are going to find their way. A vision is what pulls everyone ahead in terms of the journey that is ahead of us. So visionary leaders are inspirational leaders. Vision means a long sight and a connection between that long sight and the moment. Let me repeat that. Vision means a long sight and a connection between that long sight, that destination, and the moment where we are today. A vision is a picture of the future. When Martin Luther King said, I have a dream, he said, I have a dream that the sons of Africans and the sons of the Europeans of Georgia will sit on the table of brotherhood. He said, I have a dream that The content of the character of a man will not be determined by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. He said, I have a dream. A vision is a picture. A vision is not a number. I'm speaking directly to business people. Sometimes when we are appointed, we say, my goal is to deliver 50 billion naira profit. My goal is to deliver 100 billion naira revenue. Those things are good. They are nice goals, but they don't inspire people. Visions that are inspiring are pictorial. Where am I taking my business to? I want every house to have my product in the next 10 years. I want every car that is going to be taking children to school to be a car manufactured in this company. That is a vision. I want to manufacture 10,000 cars. It does not inspire people. So a vision is a picture. And if you're going to inspire people, translate those goals into a pictorial that can touch the hearts and minds of people. Even the Lord Almighty, when he was telling the children of Israel and taking them from Egypt to Israel, that was going to be a journey. He had a picture of Canaan. And let's learn from God himself. He said, I'm taking you to a city overflowing with milk and honey. That everyone could understood. With a city flowing with milk and honey, we will cross the Red Sea. We will overcome barriers. We will go around mountains because we know where we are going. A vision is a picture. And that's very important. Please, let's take that. A city overflowing with milk and honey. The Lord leading Israel through Moses gave that picture of that inspiring destination in Exodus 3:17. Number 6, vision of the future needs to be translated to an agenda. What needs to be done to get to that desired, inspiring future? How are we going to accomplish the goal and the mission? That is the strategy. What is our strategy? What will we do? That is what leaders must do, must champion, or must get their teams to think about. What is the path to the inspirational future and why? What are the challenges and the obstacles on the journey? How should we deal with those challenges? As a leader, you need not answer these questions alone. That's why you got a team. You are not supposed to provide the answer. You need to answer this question with your team. But the vision of the destination, that picture that inspires people is yours. With your team, how we are going to navigate the obstacle, it's a decision that you can inspire people. Let's sit down together. Let us imagine how we're going to overcome this obstacle, how we're going to bypass these mountains together. But the decision, that vision of the future is that of a leader. That inspiring future, that picture is that of the leader. A good leadership agenda mobilizes the energy of the institution, of the business, or family, community, or society. And leadership agenda should not be more than 3 to 5. When you have 25 agenda, then you don't have an agenda. Maximum 3 to 5 agenda, so that everyone understands and know their role and their contribution to the accomplishment of that agenda. Show me an institution, family, business, church, community, where there's no clear leadership vision that everyone has agreed to, where there's no clear leadership agenda, and you see a directionless, dysfunctional community pulling in different directions and accomplishing very little. Number 7, leading people. Why should people follow you? Trust. People will follow you because they trust you. But what is trust? Trust is the primary bond that seals the relationship between the leaders and the followers. Why should people trust you to lead them? People will trust you to lead them because you represent and pursue their collective interests beyond yourself. Let me repeat that because these are simple things. Trust is the primary bond that seals the relationship between the leaders and the followers. And why should people trust you to lead them? They will trust you to lead them because you represent and pursue their collective interests beyond yourself. As simple as this is, the difference between successful leaders is always around, it's a lot around this issue of trust. Even if you are building a business and you are the owner of the business, If you run the business, can you run the business yourself? You need the staff, you need the employees. If you run the business strictly for yourself and your interest alone, you are not likely to have a tight, that seal between the leader, you, the owner of the business as the leader, and the people that you work for. And when you look at a country or a society or any community, that trust about pursuing the collective interest of the team beyond yourself is the fundamental issue about trust. The interest of the people that you lead should come before you. Fairness in the group to everyone is key to building trust. Good leaders are fair leaders. Fairness to the diversity of the group or the people that you lead is fundamental to building trust. The moment some people feel our interest is not protected, then you are not likely to have the seal, the bond between you and them as followers will be broken or become weakened. People know when their leaders are sincere and genuinely pursuing their collective interests rather than their own. There is a famous saying from Shell. Shell says something like this: trust comes on a bicycle, but lives on a Ferrari. Let me repeat that. Trust comes on a bicycle, but lives on a Ferrari. It takes time to build trust. But when you betray it, it flies away, and it's going to be very difficult to build. Therefore, understanding the weight as a leader of what trust means is fundamental to some of the things we're talking about self-control and discipline, and ensuring that you do not betray the trust of your people. Because the moment that is betrayed, the seal or the bond between the leader and the follower is broken, and it will be difficult to build. Therefore, don't betray the trust of your people as a leader. It will be difficult to build back. Number 8, humility. You cannot know it all as a leader. Be humble. Get the diverse perspective of others to take the best and the most robust decision as a leader. Let's talk briefly about the concept of frame. When I look in front of me, my frame is I see a congregation. When I look to my left, I see the choir or the musical instruments. When I look here, I see our MC. So if we are to define an issue, when I'm a leader, when I'm looking directly, I will say, maybe the challenge is the congregation, because that is what I see. But someone else who is looking in this direction will say, maybe the challenge is the musical instruments. Then someone else will say, maybe the MC is the challenge. But the fact is that everybody is right, but no one has a complete view of the issues. One of the things leaders understand is that your frame of issues might not be complete, and therefore your capacity to invite diverse perspective to decision and will ensure that decisions that you finally take or you lead your organization to take or your team to take is robust, because recognizing that your frame of issues can be limited. A leader's task is to ensure a collective perspective of not just his or her own. Your view of the world may be incomplete. Good leaders are good listeners. Good leaders lead by asking questions, inviting diverse contributions that help the institution, the community, to understand more the depth of the issues at stake. It also ensures that decisions are owned by the community and not just a few for good and peace of the organization. Hello? Okay, good. So, number 9, inclusion and diversity. If you need to get a complete view of the world for good leadership decisions, if everyone in your team think and see the world like you, it does not matter if your team is 100. All that you will see is an amplified but limited view of the world. That is why when you are building your team, if all of you are men, find women. If all of you are from the West, find people from the East and from the North. Especially if you are supposed to be running a country business. How will you understand the business in Eastern region or in the North when you don't have Northerners in your organization? If all of you are old, do you have young people in your team, and do they express themselves? Because your view of the world, if you say you are a leader and you are truly consulting, or you are consulting those who think and see the world like you, all you will do is to reinforce your limited view of the world. And the problem is that you will get dogging into what you think is correct, and you are going to make fundamental mistakes or take suboptimal decisions. So diversity and inclusivity ensures that your community, your institutional way of seeing the world and learning from it is broad and more rounded, leading to robust, optimal decisions. When you are inclusive in your leadership, everyone, no matter who they are, have a sense of belonging to the team and bring their best to contribute to the welfare and performance of the community. Number 10, your team will perform to your sincere and genuine expectation of them. Your team believes that you have a low expectation of them, they will give you a low performance and vice versa. In a family, a child that believes her parents have a high expectation of her will work to deliver on the expectation. So it is with adults. Leaders that talk down on their people can never get them to perform to the best of their ability. Tell a department, even in a church, that you didn't perform. You did not disappoint us. And they will continue to underperform. Let me repeat. Tell a department, even a church, oh, you didn't perform, that's what we expect. That department will continue to underperform. So your team will perform to your sincere and genuine expectation of them. Set the bar high, and you will see people rising to meet that bar as a leader.